Hello, and welcome to today's presentation. My name is Belinda Swan, and I serve as a program manager with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We are so grateful to have this opportunity to speak with you today. Please remember to join us at our virtual booth where you can interact with myself and my colleagues and ask questions about any of the resources and information that you hear about today. Before we start our discussion about internet safety trends and our free resources, I'd like to talk to you briefly about our organization and our mission. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or NCMEC, was founded in 1984 by John and Rebay Walsh after their 6-year-old son Adam was abducted from a shopping mall in Florida. He was later found murdered 100 miles from his home. It was his tragic death and that of other missing children that inspired a movement to create a coordinated national response to the issues of missing and exploited children. As you can see on your screen, NCMEC is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization. We're based in Alexandria, Virginia, and we partner with the Department of Justice and many other stakeholders and are congressionally authorized to perform 15 specific duties related to missing and exploited children. Over the past 3 decades, we've grown from a handful of staff to more than 400 employees, hundreds of volunteers, and offices in several states. Our mission, as you can see, is to find missing children, reduce child sexual exploitation, and prevent future victimization. Hope is why we're here, and it is my sincere hope that after today's brief presentation, you'll have a general understanding about some of the top internet safety trends related to our children, and that you'll also have an understanding of some of our free resources that, again, we hope that you'll swing by our booth to learn more about. So I'd like to challenge you to consider this question. What do you think is the top threat facing young children online today? Some of you may be thinking about a specific app, a specific game, a specific area where children like to socialize online, but in reality, the answer to this question is access. Access is the top threat facing children online today. Every day, more children across the globe gain access to the internet, and with that come a lot of wonderful possibilities, education, resources, safe ways to socialize. However, with those opportunities also come some potential threats that could put our children in harm's way. And the truth of the matter is that NCMEC has received reports of online enticement of children on almost every digital platform. So even those safer platforms that we may recognize or feel good about, quite frankly, if there's an internet connection and an opportunity for a child to engage or interact with someone else, there's an opportunity for online enticement. So it is important that we as adults educate ourselves, that we're having conversations with the children that we provide services to, the children in our own homes, about how to remain safe online and about what to do when something does go wrong. We want to always remember to try our best to be those trusted adults in our communities, prepared to help our children if and when something happens. And so we're going to quickly talk about some internet safety trends. We can spend some time talking about resources. Again, follow up with us at our virtual booth, and we can talk about any of the things you're about to hear in greater detail. I'll share with you that at the National Center, we receive reports via our cyber tip line and our hotline, 1-800-THE-LOST, when a report is filed. And I'd like to highlight that many of our cyber tip line reports and calls to the hotline are resolved internationally. We work with law enforcement agencies across the globe. But however, when a cyber tip line report is made, our analysts review that, assign it a priority level. Priority 1, for instance, a child is in imminent harm, danger. Folks are moving very quickly on these cases. We add information. We work very hard across various platforms to gather data that could be of use to law enforcement. We share this information with the appropriate law enforcement jurisdiction so that they can begin their investigations. We also offer free mental health supports and resources for these survivors and their families. So what do we see via the cyber tip line? This is how we are able to talk to you today about various trends affecting children and how we can work together to help address, prevent, and recognize these trends. We can tell you that over the last 4 years, we've seen a steady increase in reports to the cyber tip line. We receive reports from children, families, from internet service providers, and in many instances, as I mentioned, children themselves, when they know what to do and where to go, are also filing those reports. It's something so vitally important to keep in mind. If we take a look at a subset of that data, we can share with you that we've also seen this exponential increase in online enticement reports, which is what I'd like to highlight for you today. What is online enticement? What is child sexual exploitation? We receive, this is a list in order by the frequency of the type of reports we receive to the cyber tip line. Topping the list, as you can see here, we no longer refer to these instances as child pornography. We refer to them as child sexual abuse material. Obviously, we want to make sure that we are calling these videos and images by what they are. These are images and videos of a child being sexually abused. So we no longer refer to it as CP. We hope you'll consider making the same change so that we can focus on the crime being perpetrated. We can focus on the fact that there is a perpetrator that needs to be brought to justice and a child victim that needs our supports and help. So CSAM is, and again, this is difficult. So if you need to take a break, take a deep breath, please do. This isn't an easy conversation, but it's a vital conversation. CSAM followed by online enticement of children for sexual acts, trafficking, tourism, so on and so forth. Again, this is a list by frequency of the types of reports we generally see at the National Center via the cyber tip line. Some of the trends, and again, I know I'm speaking quickly, but I have a short amount of time, a lot of information. So again, please join us at our booth. Youth-produced explicit content continues to be on the rise, and we continue to see instances in children younger and younger. Again, consider access as that big focal point. Children as young as 4, 5, 6, you go anywhere, and often you'll see a very young child, maybe even a toddler, with a phone or a tablet. Certainly the case here in the United States and abroad as well. So youth-produced content seen in children of all ages. We've seen an increase in sexting and children participating in behaviors such as live streaming, I should say, sexting. And again, we continue to see increases in online enticement and in sextortion as well, which we will discuss in detail at our booth if you'd like to join us. So access, children as young as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are now regularly online. And now we're starting to see reports in children 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And oftentimes these cases have to do with the topics you see on your screen. And what does this say about our children? Are they more sexualized than generations before? Not necessarily so. However, we can say confidently, especially when we have data from our friends over at Thorn, an amazing organization that helps us to understand the relationship that children have with the internet. I'd like to just quickly point out some statistics to you. The question posed or the statement, it is okay to share a nude photo or video of yourself with someone online as long as, take a look at the age groups here, the increases over time, children aged 9 to 12, 13 to 17, and broken down, as you can see here. As long as you're in a relationship with them, you can trust them. Look at the last category, you've never met them. That went from 2% to 8% over a span of time. Or I'm sorry, between girls and boys, I should say. What I just referenced is in the next slide. And then girls and boys aged 13 to 17, you can see a slight disparity there. So 60% of kids place blame on the victim. 1 in 5 kids, 13 to 17, said it's okay to share a nude as long as you send it over an app that doesn't save it. Which we know is not necessarily true with regard to whether or not it can or cannot be saved. Screenshots, so on and so forth. 47% of kids who have shared self-generated CSAM report feeling positive following the experience or exchange. 36% of kids who've shared self-generated CSAM said they felt negatively shamed, guilt, or uncomfortable. 40% agreed that it's normal for people my age to share nudes with each other. So the relationship that children have with the internet has changed dramatically. We need to understand that. We need to reserve judgment and rather be empowered to educate them with information and tools to help them if and when something happens. So again, 2019 to 2020, you can see, and again, we're going to move quickly for the sake of time, but you can see general increases across the board in some of these behaviors. And it's very worrisome, but Conversely, this is 80% of all ages who have not experienced sharing self-generated CSAM. And some folks may say, well, that's a small number then, but if you have 100 children in a room and 20 are partaking in this kind of behavior, that's a lot of kiddos. And these images we know spread very quickly and can spread around the world, quite frankly, in a matter of minutes. So it's important that we, again, reserve judgment, understand where children are with regard to their relationship with the internet, and try to educate ourselves so that we can help them. Self-generated child sexual abuse material, youth attitudes and experiences 2020 report. You can see on the left-hand side the percentage of minors who've reshared someone else's content. So the conversation can't only be about kids who have participated or in the taking of the photo. It's also those children who are sharing someone else's content. We have to make sure that these children have empathy, they recognize the consequences, and that they are absolutely re-victimizing the child in the photo, even though they did not participate in the actual taking of the photo. So you can see here some high-level statistics about attitudes toward that content. But what's important to recognize is why kids choose not to share. You can see, first and foremost, they're afraid that the photo may be leaked or shared. Pride, self-respect. Parents wouldn't want their parents to find out. They're generally scared. But the very last category here, although it did pick up 3 points from one year to the next, is that it's illegal. So we know that simply telling kids not to do this, right? It's wrong, inappropriate, went down 2 points from 5 to 3%. We know that telling kids that it's wrong and that it's illegal simply doesn't work. We have to, again, make sure that we understand where children are. The fact of the matter is that children are socializing more than ever online. As you can see here, several examples of what that looks like. They're making long-term relationships. Their online friendships are just as important to many children as their in-person friendships and so on. So again, cast aside judgments. We cannot project the way that we interact online onto children, our expectations. Let's understand that this world is continuously more and more online, and with that are going to come some of these trends. And so I know that this can feel overwhelming. What can we do? We've got to work together. We've got to work together. So for youth to hear us, they need to feel respected as individuals, supported and encouraged, heard. They have to feel like we care. They have to feel valued and special. And every single one of you watching this presentation today is already doing that work. You have not dedicated your career, your time, and your efforts to supporting children via a local club because you don't care about children. Quite the opposite. So first and foremost, thank you for your work with our children across the globe. Let's reiterate some ways that we can work together. Let's talk about teaching online safety. Some of the key pointers that I can give you, and again, this is very high level, but when we're talking about online safety, you as a trusted adult in your community, you as an established club in your area, I highly encourage you to consider teaching online safety, and we certainly don't expect you to reinvent the wheel. What we hope that you'll consider doing is utilizing NetSmart. It is our online safety curriculum, and this will help you to meet these kind of factors here. It'll help you to talk about how to establish ground rules and to talk about this information with parents and caregivers in your community, engaging with the various platforms, and re-emphasizing that we simply can't take away the tech, right? We have to understand the kinds of conversations that children are having online as well. So NetSmarts, again, is our hallmark internet safety curriculum. It's intended for children from 5 to 18 or 17. We have resources for the parents as well. It is a suite of presentations. We have tip sheets, activity guides, videos, online games, so many resources to help to drive home these safety points. We talk about cyberbullying. We talk about general online safety and keeping personal information personal. We talk about what to do when a stranger tries to interact with us. And again, in an age-appropriate way for kids as young as 5 and 6, right? So we have to start having these conversations early and often. Earlier, we talked about how we continue to see reports regarding children as young as 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So what does that indicate? We've got to start having these conversations with children that age as well. And we have the resources to help you do that. NetSmarts Kids is a fantastic tool for children 10 and under. We have 2 seasons of Into the Cloud, a web-based series. Each episode is also available in Spanish. We have discussion guides, questions, tip sheets, coloring pages, so many wonderful tools to help you to reach children aged 10 and under. Again, such an important demographic to be in touch with about these topics over time, early and often. Sexting tip sheets for parents and youth, right? Not only do we need to make sure that children understand some of the consequences and what to do, but that parents know what's happening too. Your Photo Fate is a fantastic video. Join us at our booth. We'll play it for you. It's available in English and Spanish as well. It's a video geared at older children and teens about exploring some of the consequences of sharing nude images and what to do should a child need help. Again, we're not trying to shame children. Rather, we want to empower them to make better choices and to feel trusted and valued and respected when they're ready to talk to us about what has happened to them. Sextortion resources. Meet us at our booth. We can talk to you about what this is, what it means for our children, especially young boys who continuously are continuing to show an upward trend in cases of sextortion. Asking for help resources, general overall safety, think walking to and from school, what to do, what kinds of questions to ask of our children to make sure that they have a plan should they feel that they're in a dangerous situation. So again, fantastic tools and resources. Majority of these are also available in Spanish, very, very kid-friendly. 10 and under is the target audience here. We have autism and sensory friendly resources as well. Child ID kits, tips for families, those are available in English and Spanish. Resources, if you have sports incorporated into your youth club, let's talk at our booth about some of the tips we have for youth and sports and coaches as well. Get those conversations started with the adults in your communities. We have tip sheets to help you to have those conversations as well. If you don't have time to swing by our booth, please do scan that QR code. If a child comes to you, they have an image online already, you've implemented internet safety programming at your club, and a child has made an outcry, we can assist with removing that content. Simply come to our website and do so here. You can learn how to report to each of these partners listed on your screen. Take It Down is our newest resource where we can help anyone can log in. It's a free service. They will not share the images. Rather, we can talk about the technicalities at our booth, but essentially we work with our partners to remove these images from their platforms. It's a very innovative, state-of-the-art, free tool to help children and in some cases adults who have images of themselves when they were children online. We can work together to try to get these images removed. Finally, I'll share with you that we have our community education partner program. It allows us to partner with trusted organizations to train you up on how to deliver these internet safety presentations and resources. If you're interested, let us know. We'll definitely provide you with information. Free training is just a couple of clicks away on our website. And I'd like to close with this. Again, I threw a lot of information at you. These are the kinds of things you can report to the cyber tip line or 1-800 The Lost. Again, we have international partners. A lot of our cases resolve across the globe. The biggest takeaways I'll share with you again are just to consider that the relationship between children and the internet is ever evolving. We have to make sure we're meeting children where they are. We have to educate ourselves about the issues, recognize that the types of online enticement cases we continue to see are on the rise, but that no hope is lost here. We are already together for the common purpose of serving children. Let's work together to provide a safe environment for them, both in person and online. Thank you so very much for your time. Here is my contact information. Again, I know I spoke quickly and I covered a lot of ground. We hope you'll join us at our virtual booth to talk about any one of these topics in detail. Please feel free to send me an email anytime to continue the conversation. I thank you for your time, and to the World Federation of Youth Clubs for hosting us and being such a generous partner with their time and resources to allow us to be here with you today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.